document, filled out all the forms, checked every box for your F-1 visa interview. You think you're totally ready, right? Well, what if I told you that all that paperwork, as important as it is, isn't the thing that will actually get you that stamp of approval? Yeah, let's get into it. Because that real decision, the one that's made in just a couple of minutes, it actually comes down to something else entirely. It's not really about your grades or your bank statements or even how perfectly you speak English. So, what is it then? Well, if you talk to visa experts, and I mean even students who've been successful, they'll tell you that a staggering 90% of the decision, it all boils down to just one single thing. And it's the one part that most people, believe it or not, completely overlook. That's right. It's your mindset. The whole thing is a mental game. The interview is really just a test of your confidence, your clarity, and honestly, your credibility. And in this explainer, we're going to break down the exact psychological toolkit you need to totally ace it. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the real secret, the rule that pretty much governs every single interview. Then we'll build up your core mindset from scratch. After that, we'll jump into a mental workout you can start doing like right now. We'll cover how to master the pressure of interview day and then wrap up by walking through those final confident moments right before you step up to that window. All right, first up, the interview's real secret. And it's not about your grades. So what is this big secret anyway? Well, it's a fundamental principle of U.S. immigration law that basically flips the entire interview on its head. Getting this is absolutely the first and most critical step you have to take. And this right here gets to the absolute core of the whole thing. See, under U.S. law, the visa officer has to assume you plan to stay in the U.S. forever. It creates what they call a presumption of guilt. Now, what does that mean for you? It means the entire burden of proof is on you. You have to be the one to convince them, without a doubt, that you are going to return home after your studies are done. And that is exactly why your documents alone are never enough. I mean, think about it. The officer is trained to read people, not just shuffle papers. They're looking for signs of credibility, of confidence, a clear and consistent story. They aren't just approving your application, they are approving you as a person they can trust to follow the rules. Okay, so how do you actually project that trust and credibility?
Hi guys, welcome to today's mock session. Um, so I thought I had everything well set up, but it looks like the software was doing its own thing today. So I wasn't able to use the link that I previously got from the software. So it's like I'm streaming on a different link. I don't know. I'm sure some of you have noticed that. So um yeah, so but I'm happy to be here today. I have one student, but his mock session is going to be very detailed because he's been denied before, and I want to get into why he was denied and what we can do, right? Because I think this an intelligent student based on what I have been told. So um yeah, let me know where you're watching this from. Like I always tell you guys, it's very helpful for me to know where you're watching this from. It's so important to me. So let me know where you're watching this from. And if you have any question, please leave it in the chat and I'll do my best to answer them for you. So I have Prince, as you can see, I have Prince with me today. And in a few seconds, we are going to get into his story. Give me a second, please. Let me update something here. Uh, I thought I didn't have to do this, but I guess. Um, yeah, please let me know where you're watching this from. Okay. And if you have any question, please let me know. Yes. Okay, I think it should work. Um, okay, yeah, Prince, are you there? Hello, Prince.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Please,
Uh, yeah. So before I start asking you questions, I would like to have an idea of what happened during your first interview. So can you tell me the questions you were asked and how you answered them, like if you can remember, and as much details as you can remember. Okay.
okay, okay.
Mm. So let's start.
Okay.
Yeah, first question.
Okay.
How you?
So one once once she requested for my I-20 and also my passport, she immediately asked me about the school I am going, and I said that I am going to Voorhees University to study a bachelor's degree in biology with a double major in bachelor's degree with a double major in biology and chemistry. This program will equip me with the practical skills. Then she cut me. Then she asked me the next question: how are you funding your education? And I said, I have been awarded a full scholarship which covers my full tuition, living expenses, and health insurance. And the next question was that how many schools did you apply to? And I said that I applied to three schools: ABC school, XYZ school, and EFJ school. Yeah. And I chose Voorhees University because of its practical and research-oriented approach to this degree. So I'll gain the skills in areas. Then once I was saying, she cut me and she asked me that which year did I complete high school, and I said I completed high school in 2023 at ABC Senior High School, where then she cut me and she asked me that, and what have you been doing since high school? And I said, I have been volunteering as a laboratory assistant at ABC Community Hospital, where I shadow my supervisor, Dr. ABC, and in basic lab procedures such as sample collection and conducting preliminary tests. And this experience has provided me a strong foundation to pursue this degree. So upon my completion of this degree, I will come back to Ghana to work as a diagnostic medical lab scientist, where I will leverage the diagnostic tools such as. And when I was saying, she cut me and she told me that, sorry, you do not qualify for this visa. So these people will explain to me why you were being denied so I can apply at any time. Yeah. And the paper she gave me was a 214B paper.
I see. Um, the way you were sounding, I felt like you probably didn't sound like you knew what you were doing. Like you didn't sound like they approve students to come here to study, and if you want to think about it very well, it's a selective process. They don't
Yeah.
issue visas to everybody. They are looking for intelligent students who will come to the US and make an impact. So if you are not able to convince them about some kind of, I mean, there is always the ties thing, but even if you come and then you are returning to your home country, you still, in a way, yeah, I there was a video I made some time ago. It's not really about the fact that they really want you to return. If you are intelligent, they want you to stay, because that's why H1B is there. That's why EB1, EB2, all these things are there for international students, for them to stay here permanently. So, but then they want the best people to stay. So when you are going for the interview, you want to convince them that you are a problem solver. You know what you are, what the degree will do for you. The answers that I
Okay.
heard from you, let's begin from let's start from the beginning. First of all, you said you're going to study a double major, biology and chemistry, and then you quickly said this program will equip you with this thing. I keep telling people, everybody is saying the same thing. When everybody is saying the same thing, it's like you've memorized it. You don't have to follow what everybody is doing, because
Mm.
everybody, they go and then they say, I'm going to study a 2 year this in this program will equip me. It's the same thing. No, just
Yeah.
don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. You wanna tell her why you want to study the program. What is it? What if you have a degree in biology? What can you use that for? What can you what is a problem you can solve in Ghana? right? You want to express your interest, why you genuinely want to study the program, instead of this equip me with all these things. You have a full scholarship. When she asked you how you cover your studies, all you had to do was, I have a full scholarship. And then you want to tell her, you could have told her how you got a scholarship. So how are you covering your studies? You could have just said, I have a full scholarship covering my cost of attendance. The scholarship was based on my, I don't want to continue because I'll come to that. On my, just keep that in mind. I'll come to on my, the continuation of that. So you say you applied to three schools, you mentioned the schools, that's fine. um and then you say you gained I don't remember what this is really. I wrote something, but so then she asked you, what have you been doing since high school? Then when you completed high school, you said you completed high school in 2023.
Yes.
And she asked you, what have you been doing? You said since high school you've been volunteering at what, something medical, right? Something where you collect
Laboratory
some.
assistant. Yeah.
You've been working as a laboratory assistant. You've been volunteering as a laboratory
Yeah.
assistant. You've been collecting samples, and that has given you a strong foundation. It doesn't sound like it is genuine. Like it sounded like he's just saying something. There. You could have the continuation that I told you about. You took the SAT. You had 1500, right?
My SAT I took was 1280, and that was in
Mm.
2024. Yeah. But during that time, I wasn't feeling well, so yeah, I took the registration. The SAT registration was approaching, so I took it anyway. Yeah. But
Okay,
since then,
so
I've not
hold on. Maybe okay, so you how many times did you take the SAT?
once.
Okay, once. I guess I mistake you for somebody else. Okay, so you took it once. You got 1280, right?
Yes.
Okay. If I were you, I would have talked about what you have genuinely been doing since high school. You completed high school in 2023. I would have talked
Yeah.
about the fact that since after completing high school, I prepared myself for the SAT, which I took in 2024. And during that period, I was also researching schools that align with my goal of, you know or that have a specialization in XYZ, or that align with my goal of developing skills in XYZ to solve XYZ. That will make you look like a genuine student. You don't have to be a volunteer. You didn't have to. It's not been a long time. It's not been like 5 years or 6 years or something. No, you could have just talked about what you've actually been doing, which is preparing for the SAT, looking for schools, applying for schools, doing your research, writing your essays. That will make you
Yeah.
sound like a genuine student, right? The sample collection thing, I'm like, you could have, I mean, if you really want to talk about that, you could have added that, that, okay, I've also been volunteering, you know, twice a week at XYZ Medical Center, where, I assist Dr. ABC, something like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Your career as why do you want to be a medical laboratory scientist? That's what you say you want to be. Why? Why do you want to be
And the reason is that um, through my experience in the hospital, I have because I've always been passionate about contributing to medical diagnostics in Ghana, and through my volunteering work, I have learned more about how diagnosing disease help in treatment of disease.
so
But
no
I've
the
also realized
what I'm trying to ask you is, what is the different thing that you are bringing on board after you complete your studies? Because what you are saying is they are the same thing that everybody is doing in Ghana already. So there is
yes,
nothing new. You can actually study the program in Ghana. So whenever you say you want to come to the US to study a program, you are trying to say there is something specific in the US which you don't have in Ghana, and that is your motivation. So if you are saying the same diagnosis, like nobody, it's not like people are not doing it already. People are already doing it. So what is the new thing? What is it? What aspect of laboratory diagnosis you you are interested in, which you think can help detect certain diseases which are difficult to detect at the moment or something? Maybe you want to develop maybe you want to develop some lab equipment or something, maybe like you which can be used to detect certain things which are currently not, like, you want to be very ambitious in a way. It's like you've identified a problem and you want to find a solution to it, and you think that coming to the US will give you the skills you need to be able to do those things. But if you say lab scientists, that is still not answering the question. Why do you want to be a lab a lab scientist? Why? What would you really want to do with it? Some of these things you want to search this, you want to go on the school's website and do a little bit more research. Like, the school might even tell you the program objectives, so that you are like, okay, by the end of the program, these are the things I'm going to learn from the program. You want to talk about those things. If they ask you why did you choose a school, you want to identify something in that school which you think will help you achieve your objective of returning to Ghana, um to do something. Maybe you want to establish lab your own lab or something, to do research into. Maybe you want to return to establish a research lab which will focus on investigating or something. Maybe there is a disease in Ghana which is not really being paid attention to, and you feel like coming here will prepare you with the skills to do research into, like, find something more specific. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it makes sense.
Yeah. How did you get the funding? How did you get a full scholarship?
I got this full scholarship based on my strong academic performance, which include my American Math Olympiad Bronze Medal Award and also my highest distinction award in the Ghana STEM Olympiad. I also had excellent transcripts with a GPA of
The Olympiad. What
3.96.
is the Olympiad about?
The Olympiad is an online competition which is for it ranges between grade 1 and grade 12 students, and this Olympiad exams determines it's all about applying your problem solving skills to tackle real world problems in the world.
This is something you have competed in and you have won, right? So you wanna
Yes,
go back and then look at exactly what that is about. I kind of had an idea of what the Olympiad is about, but you wanna probably write it down to know exactly the key aspect of the Olympiad that you want to talk about whenever you are asked about what that is about, right? So that, because it's like you were struggling, it's like,
yeah,
which it's not really, it wasn't really bad like that too, but I just, if you can
yeah,
be more eloquent expressing it, I think that because it's something you've already participated in.
yeah.
Um,
Which
probably
I
instead of saying uh maybe if you want, you can say it was based on your strong academic performance and competitions you have won, such as the Olympiad. And I think that sounds better. So because the Olympiad is more like a competition. So like I said, they are looking for intelligent people who can contribute something, right? So you probably want to craft it like that, that is based on. Then when you say academic performance, what do you mean?
I mean by my ability to, I mean, my ability to solve problems in the academia, and I'll
How
also
do
talk about.
how do we know you have solved problems in academia? You haven't. This is a question that somebody like you, I feel like you should be able to answer it easily. You could have just said, the funding was based on your high school GP of maybe, I don't know, 3 point something, 3.8 or something, your SAT score of 1280, you also submitted the recommendation letters from your high school professors. You have also won competitions. You have won several awards, which was also part of, the decision making of the school in terms of awarding you this. Like, yeah, straightforward. Because how do I know you have a strong academic performance? Your GPA, your SAT. You should also talk about the essays you wrote. The essay, whatever you say you wrote in your essay, has to align with your goal of studying the program, because that's why they will give you the admission and funding, right? Because it's like
Yes.
you told them you want to use biology to do XYZ. So that should be your motivation. You have to say the same thing, that you also submitted essay. I don't know if you submitted essays or an essay, but yeah, you submitted an essay highlighting, or where you talked about how you intend to use uh I'm thinking about, so like maybe a biology topic. I'm not too sure uh what in biology. Let's say how you
The
intend to
field,
use. Yeah, go on.
the field of radiology in and improving the detection of
don't
cardiovascular
use the
disease.
word don't use the word field. So I'm trying to say a technique, so, or um uh
Mag-
um how do I even say it? So something like how you intend to use. You could have said how you intend to use radiology and chemical whatever to improve the health condition, or that kind of thing. Don't say the field of radiology. You can just say radiology, because we are looking at the technique, the tool. Does that make sense? Not the
Okay.
field. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I'm I hope I'm not confusing you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if they ask you how are you finding your studies, if you had said I've been awarded a full scholarship covering my cost of attendance. This scholarship was based on my SAT of this, my GPA of this, my recommendation letters, three recommendation letters from my high school advisors, my essay highlighting my interest in biology and how I intend to develop tools that can be used to detect maybe sickle cell diseases in Ghana or something, and also the competitions that I won, including 20 Olympiad. I don't know how the names of those competitions, but you just mentioned the competitions that maybe the Olympiad in 2016, sorry, the Olympiad in 2025, stuff like that. Those are the things you want to talk about. What has changed since your last visa interview?
Since my last visa interview, I have changed my school. I am going to Alabama State University because uh, Alabama State University has always been my top choice school. But last year, I submitted my application, but I got waitlisted and later rejected. And during that time, I was, I was always during that time my visa. I don't know how to put it. Please, can I start it?
So you wanted to do a mock interview, and the expectation was that you had prepared yourself. That's why you requested for
Yeah,
it. And
yes.
so it's like you are somebody, the way I see you, I feel like you are somebody who has to really, that everybody is different. Some people, they they are very intelligent and they are able to express their intelligence. Some people, they are very intelligent but then they struggle to express it, and I feel like you are intelligent but then you struggle to express it. So for somebody like you want to practice a lot, like you want to practice a lot, because even when you have an idea of what you want to do, it's like you are struggling to articulate it. So um what has changed since your last interview? If I remember correctly, I think you You said you had won the Olympiad since.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay, you just tell me the things that have happened since your last visa interview. This will be your second,
Since
right?
my, yes, this will
Okay.
be my second.
Okay. So tell me.
Since my last since my last interview, I have taken the steps to better articulate my future career plans and also improve my academic skills. I have won two Olympiad medals, which are the American Math Olympiad bronze medal and also the Ghana STEM Olympiad highest distinction medal. And this experience has not only improved my problem solving skills, but it has also helped me in gaining this full scholarship which covers my food, tuition, and living expenses while I will be pursuing bachelor's degree in biology with a concentration in medical imaging at Alabama State University. I chose this degree because this degree will enable me to gain the skills in radiology, immunology, and anatomy to come back as a researcher to help improve the detection of to detect cardiovascular disease, especially heart failure, which is prevalent in my Sisala community. So after my studies, I will come back to Ghana to do my compulsory national service and then contribute my quota to the healthcare development of Ghana, which will help put Ghana's
So
healthcare system in a more
I don't want
effective way.
I don't want to propose answers to you. I want you to do some research, and because the things, some of the things you are saying, if you ask what have you been doing since your last interview, and you are saying since my last interview I've taken steps to improve my academic performance, that doesn't sound like that doesn't really sound good to me.
Yeah.
I think you could have just said, well, not just that, but one thing that you could add or you could say better has to do with the fact that since your last visa interview you have participated in uh two competitions which
Mhm.
you won, right? You said you won, right?
Yeah,
Did you?
I won the bronze medal.
Yeah. So the competitions, are they international competitions?
Yeah, the American Math Olympiad is international and the Ghana one is national. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you could say since your, but then the thing is, um it's about how your application has changed since your last visa
Mm.
interview. That's the question. So it's not really what you've been. Okay, I guess. But then you can still talk about this. You can talk about what has really changed in terms of your application. But then you can also add, I've also won two competitions. One from, I've also participated in uh, gotten a bronze medal in two competitions, including one from the American whatever. You just put it there in your DX1C form. When they see it, they're like, okay. And also at the interview, if in case it comes up, you can still say that, right? But that's not the first thing you say. It's something you add to show that you are an intelligent person. Does that make sense?
Yes,
But
it
what has changed? What has changed about your interview? Um, I don't think you should say you have changed your school because that invites more questions and more scrutiny because it's like, are you really were you really interested in the first school? You say you were rejected and then you were waitlisted and no, I'm not too sure if that is. I don't think those are the things you should be talking about. You could just say you were denied. So what has changed since your last interview? You could just say um you can just talk about your interest, why you want to study the program. So I have a full scholarship to study the program, to study biology, to study the program is biology, right?
yes, biology.
Biology. Okay. So with regards to the DX1C form, right? I think one thing
Yeah.
you can just say, because you're not really sure what to say. You can just say, the same, you were denied under section 2 and 4B. And then after that, you can just say, I have a full scholarship covering my cost of attendance. And the reason I want to study this program is because I want to use. So then here you bring in your motivation why you want to study the program. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes,
So
yes.
just don't say exactly what has changed, but then in a way, try to justify why you deserve the visa.
Yeah, I
Does
get
that
you.
make sense? I hope what I'm saying makes sense to you.
Yes, yes, I get
Okay. And then the next line you can say, while waiting to reapply for this visa, I've also won XYZ competition,
you. Yes.
that kind of thing. You just add it to your application like that. Does that make sense? So the goal of the reason you are doing this is, first of all, when you say you've been denied a section 214B, you are just saying that uh you are just in a way giving a reason for why you were denied, which is the reason they gave you, that this is why you were denied, right? So I
Yeah.
was denied a section 214B. Then the next line, you are trying to justify why you deserve the visa. Sorry, you are trying to justify your funding and why you deserve the visa, and that will cover everything. So it's like, I have a full scholarship covering my cost of attendance. So that alone tells the visa officer that you are not trying to um you're not trying to, like, that tells the visa officer you don't have any deficit. It's like, okay, you have
Yeah.
your it's like your funding has been fully covered. That's the whole point. Then
Mm.
then the next thing is trying to show her your reasons for studying the program. And that reason, that's what I don't want to tell you anything, because I want you to do a bit more research. And when you are ready, come and let's do the mock interview again. um yeah, to finalize everything. But I want you to spend some time too, because I feel like you are somebody who has to do some research. So
Mm.
then, briefly, you put why you want to study the program. Whatever you put there has to also reflect your ties, which is your plans after your studies. Because it's like,
Mm.
I want to study this program because I want to develop XYZ tools that can be used to, you diagnose XYZ, something like that. Just think about, it's your field, right? If it's
Yeah.
economics, I can easily tell you something, but go and do a bit more research. Why somebody like you, why a program like that would be good for somebody like you, and what that can be used to solve in Ghana, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
What is a medical condition that a new skill from the US can be used to, um, address. So that is how I will approach it. Then the third part is trying to say that, oh, since you were denied, you haven't been lazy. You've actually participated in competitions and
Mm.
won.
Mm.
Any visa officer who reads that, because when you've been denied before, that's the first thing they are going to look at. Okay, what has changed, right? So they are looking at that. So as soon as they see that, they are like, okay, this guy is an intelligent student, right? So then they're not likely to stress you. Now, just also know much about the competition, because it can come up. What is the
Yeah.
competition about? How did you participate in it? Just to make sure
Mm.
it is genuine, right? You want to make sure that is clear. And anything that you say, just make sure you can defend it. If you talk about research, maybe there is a particular disease you want to
Mm.
come to the US and develop the skills to be able to research into, then they may ask you about the research, so you want to be able to say it very well. Now, you want to make it very clear that you are coming to the US because of certain facilities that will allow you to carry out that particular research. You know, maybe they are not, those things are not in Ghana, or maybe certain skills that you are. So, for example, if somebody is coming to do statistics, the person can talk about the fact that, US, programs incorporate a lot of machine learning into the curriculum, and so perhaps that is not in the curriculum of the Ghanaian programs, maybe statistics programs, right? So you want to identify something which you think, in a way, m- uh, makes the US program different from the ones that are, you know um, that are in your home country. So that is what I would say. If you think about everything I've said very well and you do a bit more work, I think you'll be fine. Somebody like you, I feel like you have to do some research on your own. and avoid all those generic answers that you've come across, because your answers are all in a way generic. It's like you've picked up pieces of information from different people's stories, and that is not always helpful. You are not really being yourself, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, the SAT I think is not bad. 1280, yeah, it's something you've been doing. So if you go again, they ask you, you can talk about SAT. You've been, you were preparing for the SAT, during that period. You were searching for schools. Now, your reason for choosing a school has to be very specific. What is it about the school? Because there are so many schools. So, what is special about that school? You want to stick to. You want to identify something which separate that school from other schools. And when I say something that separate the school from other schools, it's not about the class size. It's about the program. What is it about the curriculum, right? In terms of what you want to do after after the program. Does that make sense? I know I've said a
Yes,
lot of
yes.
things, and probably you'd have to sit down and then think about them very
Yeah.
well. But yeah, hopefully you are able to, put together something that makes more sense. So that's what I would tell you. And when you're ready, we'll meet again, and then we'll do it. We'll do another one and see. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Um,
do you have any question?
with regards to the funding aspect, um, on the I-20, there is tuition, living expenses, and health insurance, and the presidential scholarship covers the
Covered.
presidential scholarship covers the food, the tuition, and living expenses, but it's left with the health insurance. But in the school, um, the current presidential scholars, they are on the health insurance plan in the school, so they don't pay. But on my 20, let me
So
say it's a deficit,
so the deficit is what? How much?
$1,600.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can just say I have. You can just say it's still a full scholarship. You can say I have a
Yeah.
full school. I have a full scholarship covering my tuition and my living expenses, leaving me with a deficit of $1,600, which is for health insurance. That's all. Yeah, you don't have to talk about how you are going to take care of that,
Yeah.
because it's not important. There are more important things to talk about. So you rather want to talk about how you got a scholarship. This scholarship was based on my strong GPA of 3.8 out of this, my SAT of 12.8. The visa says when you're coming to the undergraduate studies, they like it when you have the SAT, because it shows that you are serious about about the journey, about coming here. If you don't have the SAT, it's like, did you really, did you really want to come here, right? Was that something you really worked hard for, right? In a way. But if you have the SAT, as long as it's above 1,000, I think it's still fine. So then, yeah, you can say that, you can talk about your recommendation letters to show that you had people who vouch for your academic potential, right? And that is part of why you got the funding. And then you can also talk about your essays, because when it comes to undergraduate applications, your essays are extremely important. The school wants to make sure you are using the skills from the program to do something, to solve a problem. So what is it? The visa officer is interested in that. So you tell the visa officer that as well. Then you also want to mention awards you have won. You have also won awards. Um, you've also participated in, and won um, both domestic and international awards, including the American. As soon as the visa officer hears the American, it's like, okay, this is good. So you want to emphasize on that, okay? So that will completely cover your funding stuff, because as an international student, once your tuition and your living expenses are covered, that's all. The visa officer doesn't care about the small deficits for health insurance. That's not a big deal. Once in a while, he may ask you, but that shouldn't have any impact on the final decision of the visa officer. But then, now, of course, you can say your uncle, your father, whoever is sponsoring you, you can just mention the person's name. Is just, but that doesn't do anything. Don't say anything about that until you're asked. Just focus on how
Okay.
you got the funding. That is more important. Yeah. And how you why you decided to apply to the school, why you chose the schools, all of them have to be about what the schools will teach you, what is special about those schools compared to other schools. So what is the unique thing about the curriculum of those programs? Maybe they focus on medical imaging, and that is what your interest is in. So then you apply to those schools because of because they have a specialization in medical imaging. That is always a good idea. I always tell students, you can choose a school because of the specialization. That is always a good thing. So you can say you chose those schools because of that, but then uh you are going to one of them, right? You are going to one of them because of uh uh
Yeah.
so in your case, right, you
Mm.
are choosing all the three schools because of the medical imaging, but you are going to one of them. If you want, you can say because they gave you a full scholarship as well.
Okay.
So let me make it clear. Some of these things, if I don't say them well, I can confuse the students. So let me say them well. So if they ask you why are you going to XYZ university, you can talk about all the reasons which made you apply to all the other schools. The same reasons. But this one, because they ask you about one school, you have to stick to that one school. You have to give all of those good qualities to that one school. Does that make sense? So, for
Yeah.
instance, if they ask you why did you apply to A university, you can say I applied to A university because of their medical imaging specialization, which is my interest because of my plans to return to Ghana to use X-rays and XYZ imaging, whatever, to improve diagnosis and help with early detection of diseases, something like that. So that is your reason for
Mm.
choosing that school or for choosing all the other schools. But then if it's specific that, okay, you apply to three schools, why this particular one? Then you can say, in addition to the area of specialization, now they also awarded me a full scholarship. That is always good, right? Or you can also say you reached out to Professor XYZ or the international office were very responsive to you. So it's like, in addition to the curriculum, because the curriculum is always the first thing. Why you choose a school, first of all, because of the curriculum, because that is what is going to give you the skills you need after the program. But then you can have all the other things which will separate one school from the others. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. I don't know if
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm not
really get
confusing,
it.
right? Okay.
Yes. Yes,
So
I'm getting.
yeah. So yeah. Uh that's what I would say. So we'll talk again. I'm hoping that by the time we do another mock interview, you should be ready because yeah. So good luck. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so
So
much. Thank you.
yeah. All right. So take care.
Okay.
Um.
So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask last question before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. What's your
So
last question?
so my last question is about maybe if she asked, have you traveled before? And although I've not traveled, but in the coming May, yeah, I've been qualified for the final round in the International STEM Olympiad, which will happen in Rome in Italy. So if I said maybe no, I've not traveled before, but I've qualified to blah blah blah. So with that one, does
When
that
are you
one
going?
also
When are you going for the interview? Is it before
March 20?
May? Okay, March. Okay. So you always want to emphasize your strengths. Going to Rome is a strength. So if she asks you, have you traveled before? You can say, no, I haven't traveled before, but I will be traveling to Rome in May to participate in the finals of the, I don't know, Olympiad competition or something.
Mm.
That's all. That is solid. You end it there. Because that shows that, oh, you are going to be traveling very soon. And it's always good. For you, your travel experience doesn't matter. But the reason you want to say the Rome thing is like, oh, this guy is an intelligent student. He's already going to Rome. You have the visa, right? Do you have the
Currently,
European?
the Olympian Academy is working on it.
Okay, so if it comes up, just say the visa is not ready yet. They are working on it. Just like you told me, just say the
Yeah.
same thing. So yeah, you have to talk about it when you get opportunity, and not just have you traveled before, but if they ask you, if they ask you what have you been doing since you completed high school, right? You can say that you were preparing for the SAT, which you took in 2024. You also you have also participated in the Olympiad, whatever, which you are going to participate in the finals in Rome in May. You want to bring that one as your second point. That is something you be, because it shows that you are an intelligent guy. You want to emphasize that, okay? Before you talk about the volunteer thing, that
Oh,
I also volunteer 2 days, 2 days a week. Because you don't want
yeah.
to, if you volunteer every day, it's like this is not volunteering work, it's a full-time job. So yeah, so you want to say I also volunteer twice a week at XYZ hospital, to gain first-hand knowledge about or first-hand training or something in lab in medical diagnosis or something, something like that. So that should be your third point, I think, in my opinion. So yeah. Or
Yeah.
even with the first point, you can also say you were also researching schools with focus on medical imaging. That is, if you want to do medical imaging, you want to say that, right?
Yeah.
You prepare for the SAT, you take it in 2024, and you started doing your research into US schools with a focus on medical imaging. At the same time, you were also participating in XYZ competition, uh which you got to the final, which you've gotten to the final, and you'll be traveling to Rome in May to participate in the finals. And at the same time, you also volunteer twice a week at XYZ hospital. That will convince anybody. And some of these things, you want to keep practicing them. You want to always ask yourself questions and then answer the questions to yourself, record yourself, play it back, so that you become more fluent in terms of expressing some of these, because it's like you struggle a little bit and it's like you are thinking about what to say, and which is normal. Sometimes these things, they happen, it's normal, it's not your fault. You just have to practice a little bit more, and I think you'll be fine. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
good luck. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we'll talk again. Let me get into the comment section. So guys, thanks for joining today. I see Sylvester from West Legon, Leila from Kenya, uh John Takrady, here we come. So John, uh uh have you I hope you have received an offer, because I think John, I'm familiar with you. I know this John very well. Like I know this name. I've seen this name a lot. Okay, I think you are a top fan. I think you are in my Discord group as well. I think you are in my Discord group, and I think I've been seeing you on TikTok too. I think so. I think so. Okay, so John, I hope everything is going well, right? Let me know if you have received some offers, and so that we we'll see the way forward. So, why did you change your school? Yeah, the school thing, the so it's like first school you had a full scholarship, and then second school you have another full scholarship, right? So it's like, why, if both of them have given you full scholarships, right? If the first school is so important to you, why would you want to change to the second school, right? So um yeah, and I think he mentioned that the first school he was rejected, and so he was put on a wait list or something, and later on he was rejected, and now he's been given admission and funding. I mean, that can work, but I feel like it's not. If the visa officer is not in a good mood, that will not work. It's like, yeah. Well, that one, I'm sure we'll talk about that again. Um, yeah, I guess we'll talk about that again. So hey, PK is giving me fans. So PK says, Papa Shai, Papa Shai, PK, you're giving me pressure. So John says, okay, shall be senior man? Hey, pressure. You guys, me when I see people give me pressure, I'm like, Charlie, you guys are pressuring me. So if I is here, hi. I guess yeah, the change of time probably hasn't helped, but uh Emmanuel says positives to strengthen your story. I'm learning every day. Okay, Ima. So good to have all of you today. I really appreciate your time. Today we had to change the time because I have to interview somebody in an hour time. So then I had to uh, change the live session time. But yeah. So thanks very much. I really appreciate all of you, and I hope next year by this time, you guys will be around because because you are putting a lot of hours, and w- whenever you put in a lot of hours, you have to be rewarded. Like you have to. You cannot work hard and get nothing out of life. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't work like that, right? I believe the universe always rewards people. If you are working hard, the universe will give you something back. That's just how it is, you know. Yeah, but if you are not doing anything, then you can't expect anything. So yeah, but I'm sure you guys, all of you, things will work out. Definitely things will work out. So yeah, keep pushing. The process it's not easy because right now everybody's applying, but if you keep doing the work, yeah, you just need one good offer, just one good offer, and you'll be fine. So, and I feel like you guys, you'll be able to get one good offer. So yeah, let's hope for the best. And one day, I'll meet you guys in the US. I'll meet you in the US, and then we'll go out and drink some drink some drinks. I was going to mention an alcoholic drink, but I don't drink alcohol, right? So I was like, I'm trying to be funny, but maybe I'm not funny. So bye bye.